tip to studying a subject or getting a good grade in a class that you don't like is to change your approach towards that subject or towards that class. Most of the time, because we do not like the subject, we tend to be closed-minded when it comes to actually learning about stuff in that class. Personally, I've had instances where I don't particularly like the subject, but I still do my work, I still participate in class because I know how important that is to get a good grade. So just because you hate a subject doesn't mean you have to not participate, or you have to not do your homework and study for your exams and your tests. That is even a more reason why you should participate and more reason why you should do your work and get your work done. My second tip to study a subject that you hate is to figure out the reason why you hate that subject. So most of the time, we don't like a subject or a class because of several reasons. One can be like the teacher. For example, if you had a bad experience with the teacher previously and for some reason you just don't like the teacher, that can make you to hate the subject or the class. Number two can be the class or the subject itself. Maybe you're not a good person at math and you totally hate math and you've hated math since elementary school, and because you're not good at math, you end up not liking math. That can be the reason why you hate math. So figuring out the reason why you hate a particular subject will help you a lot. Sometimes we hate a subject because of the environment that we are in while we are learning that subject. Maybe you have a group of people in that class that you don't like or that you don't feel comfortable around, and because they are in that class, that is making you to feel iffy about that class, which indirectly makes you to hate the class. So the next step is to figure out why you hate the class and find a way to go around that. Find a way to go around that to make you be successful in that class. Number 3 tip to acing a subject that you hate is to create an action plan. So once you figured out the reason why you don't like that subject, it is now time for you to create a plan to ace that subject. Let's say, for example, you don't like that subject because of, the teacher. You don't like that subject because of the teacher. So what you could do is you could find a way to go around that to have less contact and less communication with that teacher in order for you to be successful. So a way to create an action plan would be whenever the teacher is teaching in class, make sure that you are paying attention regardless of whether or not you understand it. Number 2 is you can find several ways to learn that subject apart from when you're in the class. There are thousands of online resources out there. My favorite one is actually Khan Academy. You can go in there and literally search up your class or your subject, and it will give you the lesson plan for that subject. What you can do is after learning it in class, you can go home and learn it by yourself, so that way you acquire better knowledge of that topic. The next thing you can do in create an action plan is to make sure you have all your work done for that class. Personally, I like to get my hardest homework done first and then do my easier homework, because that way I've gotten the hard part out of the way and all I have left to do is the easy ones. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't like a subject, make sure that you do that work first. If you have time during school or at lunch, do the homework for that class or for that subject in school. So that way you can get everything relating to that class and that subject and that teacher just out of your day. So when you get home, you can focus on other things and you don't have to think about that class or that subject. My 4th tip to acing a subject that you hate is to experiment with different learning styles. People are different, which means people may have different learning styles. And if you have not experienced or experimented with different learning styles, it can be hard to figure out what you like and what you don't like in regard to studying. So what you can do is you can try out different ways of learning. There are visual, people that like to learn by actually seeing it. There's hands-on, technical. people that learn best when they are able to touch it. There are people who just like reading or verbal, people who like to listen and talk to other people. So figure out what type of learning style you have and which one allows you to learn better and faster. Number 5 tip to acing a subject that you hate is related to one of my tips. That is to find different ways to learn that topic or that subject. It's very easy to not understand when a teacher is teaching, either because you don't understand or because you don't identify with their learning style, or just because you don't like the way they teach, and that is totally fine. I have had several teachers where I don't personally prefer or like their teaching style, and I've had to endure that. You don't necessarily have to endure their teaching style. What you can do is you can find other ways to learn that subject. There are dozens of online resources out there that you can use to help you learn that thing. If a teacher discusses something in class and for some reason you're still confused, you still don't understand what the teacher said, what you can do is you can go home and look up videos on YouTube. There are dozens of videos online on YouTube that you can watch. You can listen to podcasts, you can read articles, you can use Khan Academy. Really, Khan Academy is like the best website ever. That is the one I personally use. It's really good to help you find other ways of learning, and they have like practice tests on there that can really help you to ace that topic or ace that subject. If you're still watching this far in the video, comment down below this emoji. My 6th tip to acing a subject that you hate or don't like is to find a quote-unquote best friend in that class. Now, this person does not actually have to be your best friend, but for the sake of learning that subject and for the sake of actually doing well, that person needs to become your buddy in that class. And no, this is not deceitful or using them, because basically they're using you, you're using them, because in this case, both of you are going to be benefiting from working together. And what you can do is after school, you guys can have regular meetings. It can be once a week or twice a week or every day if you want, depending on how frequent you want to do it. And you can have meetings or Zoom calls with that person. That way you guys can go over your class lectures and go over your topics and your classes, and it just makes it so much fun being able to study with somebody else. And what you can do is when it comes time to a test or close to a test, you guys can study together. Because you are studying with somebody else, you are much likely to remember what was taught, and this can really help you a lot with staying in discipline, because this way you have someone there to push you. For example, if you don't feel like studying for a test or for doing your homework, you're gonna have that one person in that class that is going to push you to do your homework, that's going to push you to study for your tests. It's good to have someone there to keep you accountable. My 7th tip is kind of a mental one, and that is to remind yourself that this is only temporary. Most high school only lasts a few months, and you're only going to taking that course for maybe a few months. So just remind yourself that after the month is over, after I'm done with this, it's over. I will not have to deal with this class or with this teacher or just with this subject ever again. And reminding yourself of that is just a constant motivator and telling you that, you know what, I can study for this test because I know that in a few months I will not have to worry about this anymore. And just remind yourself that you're not going to be in high school forever. You're not going to be studying math or science or English or biology forever. It's just temporary. And reminding yourself of that constantly when you feel like giving up, when you feel like not doing your homework, is really good to help you stay motivated and disciplined. My 8th tip is to look for things that you enjoy about that class. Yes, you're watching this video because you hate the subject or you hate the class or you hate the topic that is being discussed in that class. But I can bet that there is at least one thing that you love or like about that class. So instead of focusing about the negatives, instead of focusing about the things that you hate, focus, derive your energy into things that you love. Drive your energy into things that are actually positive. For example, let's say you hate that topic and you hate it so much. Let's say you're really bad at math, so you hate your math class because you're really bad at it, and for some reason you just don't seem to understand. That is a negative aspect. But a positive aspect could be that your best friend is in that class. And because your best friend is in that class, that is positive. That is a reason to come to class every single day. So instead of focusing on the negatives and focusing on the reason you hate that class, try your best to think about possible reasons that you may not hate that class as much, or a reason that you may not hate it, or a reason that you may actually like the class. Because I promise you that no matter how much you hate a class or a subject, there's always going to be a few things that you, or at least one thing that you like about that class. So try and find the positives, try and find the good in everything. My 9th tip to studying a subject that you hate is to not stress about it. This goes back to one of my tips about realizing that it's only temporary, but do not stress about it. I have had times where I've literally cried over a math problem. I know, it's crazy. I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, what? Did I really shed tears over a math problem? Like, I've had several times where I was just so stressed about a math problem or math class in general, or math homework, and I've literally started crying. That is insane to even think about. I was crying over math. It's crazy, but it happens. So just remind yourself that it's only temporary. Do not stress. If you are having problems with a math problem, or you're just not understanding it, just calm down, take deep breaths, and ask for help. Ask for help if necessary. Do not be afraid to ask other people for help, because I am sure that they will love to help you. You can ask your friends for help, you can ask your teachers for help, you can ask your parents for help. Just ask for help from someone, and if you still don't understand it and if it's still really annoying, just leave it and come back to it later, because stressing and just fidgeting and just being overwhelmed over a problem or a class is just not worth it. Like, your mental health, your mental well-being is a lot more important than that. So prioritize not stressing and actually just calming down and asking for help when you need help. Alright, you guys, those are all the tips and tricks that I had to hopefully help you study a subject that you hate. Trust me, I've been in your shoes. I've been in the position where I had to get an A or get good grades in a subject that I did not like, or that I did not like that much. So I really hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more videos. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.
And walk right up to the side of my mountain, climb until you reach my peak.